What would be good in a Willy wine? Maybe something like, I don't know, like maybe it should be more like a mead?
Sounds about right.
Blueberries. Actually, I was thinking like maybe like a blueberry, because I'm blue. Dubba dee dubba die.
Dubba dee dubba die.
Some mint. Oh, mint actually kind of works.
Good morning, YouTube. This is Tail, and today we're getting a start on Saga Wine number 2 for Wilhelmina Frost. You heard the lady, we took her order, we're making a mead with blueberries and mint. There's a lot to cover here today, so we're gonna speed blitz through some of it. Here we go. This has already been a 3-day process condensed down into 3 minutes. We're starting with 2 ounces of fresh organic mint leaves, and we're gonna top that off with 2 pounds of honey. We're gonna let this sit covered for 24 hours. We're gonna let these mint leaves steep in the honey, impart their flavor and aroma. Day 2, things get a little bit more involved. We strain our liquid gold into a new mason jar, and we're making sure we get as much as we can. We're going to discard these mint leaves, they've served their purpose. What's going to be coming up shortly is a pound of blueberries, as well as the start of our chemical treatments. The duo of bentonite clay solution and pectic enzyme, this is going to help clarify the wine by the end, and then to sterilize we're going to be dropping in half of a Campton tablet. This will be sure to kill off anything we don't want living beside our wine yeast. Finally, an immersion blender to mash it all together. Now why should you watch Willy? She's a sweet, silly girl who really commits to the bit. You could do worse than lay down your life for the kingdom of Austelia. I mean it when I say it too, legitimately great character acting, and a great singing voice besides. Back to wine though, our mash is processed. We've been on day 3 since I pulled out the syringe. Taking a sample, we're working out the ratios of mash to water. We're working at a small scale here so that I don't accidentally dilute this too much in the final container. Adding too little water is fine, but it's a much harder fix if we add too much. We settle at about a 1-to-1 ratio to get us where we want to be. Now we can move on to the final stretch. We're going small batch with a 64-ounce mason jar, 30 ounces of must, 30 ounces of water, and we'll be inoculating with RC212 yeast. Stir well to incorporate because we're going to take one last specific gravity reading, which clocks us in at starting gravity 1.095 or 12.5% alcohol by volume if this ferments dry. Cap it, airlock it, and now we let it sit. And if this video's out, you can bet this is progressing well. This has been Tail, though. I turn waifus into wine and harlots into hooch. If you enjoyed your time, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And definitely go watch Wilhelmina Frost. Cheers, and take care.
Hey, did someone just say dork and point at me? I'll show you a dork.